Welcome to the podcast, A Drink with Derek. Follow comedian Derek Richards on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel and watch all episodes of the podcast. Now grab a drink and join your host, Derek Richards.
But you know, still, sadly enough, who still gets upset over interracial dating still in 2009 sometimes? White men and black women. Sisters still. White men still. Y'all still have a problem with this. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's legitimate. Sometimes it's overboard. White men still. Some white dudes can't handle it. I don't know why. Fucking still in anger. There's fucking too much shit in your eye. You see an interracial couple walk by, you're like, ah! That's another one gone. First that, now I'm golf. What next, goddammit? What do we have left, Jenkins? Fucking bungee jumping and NASCAR. And you only have NASCAR as soon as brothers figured out how to drive around in a circle on 28-inch rims. Now I'm driving a car sponsored by KFC with grease on the steering wheel. Leroy Washington Johnson Jr., the third for the second, twice removed. He is his own uncle. And Leroy Washington is the best name I can think of that conjures up the image of stereotypical blackness. That's the best. Leroy Washington is the most stereotypical name universally across this country. Bam! That's blackness. You can't. Leroy Washington is and always will be black. That's not even a stereotype, that's fucking law. As a matter of fact, in this country, Washington is black. George Washington was the last white Washington we ever had. He never had sex with Martha. Have you seen pictures? I don't blame him. I could not fuck her drunk on Viagra with tequila. I can't do it. Martha Washington was an ugly ass man. George was the last Washington that ever had sex. You know, we had sex with slaves and they took his last name. Pow, take that, bitches. There are no white Washingtons. Name me one white Washington. Boom. Like some of y'all are laughing. Some of you are like, fuck, I gotta Google that. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? There's gotta be. I mean, goddamn, I worked with in Washington through the years. It was Tyrone. Yeah, he was black. He was a Melrose. There was Linda. She was an accounts receivable. She was a Negro. God damn it. This is.
Hey, it's A Drink with Derek. Welcome to the podcast. Derek Richards, your host. By the way, want to let you guys know that you can catch all the episodes of A Drink with Derek on YouTube. Also on Instagram TV, Facebook as well. You can catch the podcast version on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and also hit us up on Pandora. But more importantly right now is my ageless guest. And I'm going to say ageless because you look exactly the same now, sans the beard. You look exactly the same now as when I first met you, which has got to be probably 15, 16 years ago. You have seen this sexy piece of lunch meat on HBO's Def Comedy Jam. He's got his own special on Comedy Central. Comics Unleashed with Byron Allen, The Late Late Show on CBS, BET's Comic View. Funny dude out of Columbus, Ohio, living just outside of Dayton right now, which is where this amazing conversation is taking place. I'm in Las Vegas. You're in Ohio. I miss you, buddy. Vince Morris.
Miss you too. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing fantastic, playa.
I got to say this. Out of all the adjectives, lunch meat is probably my favorite.
Lunch meat?
Lunch meat. I've never heard of that. That's very nice.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I didn't want to sound cliche, so I want a sexy piece of lunch meat. That works out. That works out. And the good lunch meat, like the stuff you would get at least like Jersey Mike's, because they cut it right in front of you.
I'll go to the butcher and tell him, he or she, I want it an inch thick or inch and a half. I don't want that pre-cut stuff. No. I don't want that prepackaged. No.
I want a half pound of Vince Morris, which is lean roast beef. That's it. Just shave it. You know what I'm saying?
And a bottle, and I'll take a bottle of Jameson on the side with that. That goes real well.
See, perfect. That's how you and I get along so well, my friend. How you been, man? Good to see you.
I've been good, man. I've been really good, hanging in there. It was a pleasure. I'm honored that you invited me on.
Oh man, I'm glad. I was. Again, that's the one thing that I will say that this pandemic has offered me the opportunity to catch up with people that normally are busy like crazy, and so it's been. So I will say this, if I'm going to try to find some silver lining to this, it's worked out really well to connect with old friends of mine that I haven't seen in a long time, because I think the last time you and I hung out was probably when you were out here in Vegas at the Improv, when that was still open over at Harrah's.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to remember before we got on, when was the last time? It was probably about 4 years ago, right? Five.
Got to be 4 or 5 years ago. And you were out here with your amazing girlfriend, who I will say this, if you follow Vince Morris on social media, follow Vince on social media, and you will see first off, you and your girl are probably two of the most well-dressed, sexy people ever. And you will actually, now I got to ask you this, because there are times when you two will dress alike, and I find that adorable.
Yep.
Because I know you, and I know Nadia, but I know you obviously infinitely better. Now, is this your suggestion, or did she say, "Hey, sweetheart, look what I found at the store," and all of a sudden you go, "Oh, it's your idea"?
Tell me, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because I mean, it's like I'm in high school. I just relive whatever, and it makes me smile. It really does. You know what I mean? It's like a higher end version of high school. You know what I mean? It's like instead of the Who Farted t-shirts, it's Burberry's.
You've somewhat evolved.
Yeah. Well, a little bit, but
sort of.
No, I mean it's just fun. Yeah. So
that's cool.
Yeah. And the recent one I just had was, I don't know if you saw me with the jumpsuit on that I had. Did you see that recent one on
jumpsuit? I did not see the jumpsuit. Now I've got to go and look. So are we talking like Eddie Van Halen, David Lee Roth jumpsuit?
Go to my Instagram right now as you're speaking. Yeah.
VinceMorris.com is where you can find Vince. You can find all his social media outlets, because you are on Instagram.
Vince Morris Comedy.
Vince Morris Comedy. Okay.
Yep. Go to right now, D.
Pull it up there. I got to pull this up right now. Okay.
You got to go right now.
Okay. All right. I'll play along. VinceMorris.com is your website, but Vince Morris Comedy is where you can find Vince on the Instagram. Okay, I got to pull you up here. Hang on, since you
and read the caption.
All right, hang on. I'm pulling it up here. Here we go. This is is this you? You mean the white one here? Oh my God.
Yeah.
This was just from this is from April 19th, my birthday, when you guys went. Now, I don't know if you're going to be able to, if the audience will be able to see that.
They can see
get a real good, that looks, wow, that's impressive. You did not go out for Italian food that night. You get one splotch on that, and you look like you got shot.
You know what? Actually, we were legitimately at a wine tasting at a 5-star restaurant. So I put right there, at a wine tasting after my shift at Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy Lube, 10W30 with fish or a Chardonnay. Only you can pull off that jump. I wear that jumpsuit, and yes, I actually do look like I work at Jiffy Lube. So you guys pull shit off like nobody else.
I appreciate it. How you doing? What's your lady's name? I can't remember her name. What's her name?
Veronica. She's incredible. She's out here in Las Vegas. She lives about 4 miles away from me. So I will certainly do that. Absolutely. You started in Columbus. Hang on. I got to ask you this. This is because you got a 12-year-old. You have a 12-year-old daughter now.
Yeah. Where is Abella?
12-year-old daughter. I'm going to ask you this question. What would scare you more? What would make you more angry? Your air conditioning going out in July in 90-degree heat and humidity, or Your daughter dating a comedian.
This would make me angry. Not my air conditioning going out at 90-degree heat. My daughter dating a guy just like me from 1990s. That would make me right there.
That would scare you. Okay, honest.
Yeah. And if it was a comic, probably maybe like an alternative comic. One that brings the notebooks on stage and doesn't really say too much shit. Kind of safe.
Somebody who brings notebooks on stage and isn't really, funny.
It is kind of like, says things like, so what else is, and that kind of thing. He would be safe.
Yeah. You mean wear the zip hoodie and the backwards baseball cap?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then leave before the professionals get on. I want her to, yeah.
That's the guy. Okay, cool. Yeah, because you don't feel threatened at that point. You go, nah, he's not going to go far.
Nobody feels threatened. Not even the audience. They don't even laugh. So.
Worst party game that someone can suggest. You're at a party and someone says, "Hey, let's play X."
Probably Truth or Dare if you're with your girl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Especially if someone you don't know, they all want to bring you in on the shenanigans.
No, you pack up and leave.
That'd probably be the worst. Yeah,
you pull the Irish exit at that point. You just crawl out a window.
Or crawl underneath somebody's car instead of fixing the engine because I have my jumpsuit on. I just act like I'm, It's like
I'd love to play, but I noticed there was some tranny fluid.
Yeah, I saw some stuff leaking. I got to get underneath that.
I got to take a look at that. I would feel irresponsible if I didn't do my civic duty.
Otherwise,
take a look underneath your car. What were you in your previous life before comedy? Because you've been doing this a long ass time. I've been at it since '93. When did you start?
89. So I'm 32. Damn. I only had three jobs before this, D.
What was it?
McDonald's, airport, and the post office.
No shit.
You know what? I actually had a summer job working at overnight construction. It was almost like a UPS thing. We unloaded 18-wheelers.
Okay. Did you wear a jumpsuit there?
No, but I was OSHA certified. I actually ran the forklift.
You ran the forklift. How old were you at that point?
Maybe 20, 19, 20.
Can you imagine? Like I wouldn't want to watch me running a forklift, let alone at age 55, let alone at 20.
But what's even scarier is that I was making more then than minimum wage is now.
Isn't that sad?
No, I didn't realize that. I didn't even realize the minimum wage thing. I actually told Nadia, I forgot. I mean, I was so out of the loop, man, after this whole BS lockdown. I was like, I had no idea. I was completely I was just, my own little zone. And I didn't realize, I'm like, people aren't making more than 9 normally? Like, right. No. I mean, what the,
Yeah. No, when you start thinking, when people are like, people are saying, they're staying home and making more on unemployment. It's like, the sad thing is that no one's paying more than what unemployment is paying. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's, anybody can argue that point, all day long, but it's, here in Vegas, I mean, it's tough. It's gotten better now, but during the heart of all this stuff, when you could, during the lockdown, when everybody was on unemployment, you couldn't find an Uber or a Lyft driver to save your life. And out here in Vegas, I mean, they're every 10 feet when everything's running at full tilt. So yeah, it was crazy times, man.
Yeah, actually, ironically enough, I had problems trying to find an Uber and a Lyft and a taxi at one point about a couple of weeks ago. And I've heard from other people that certain areas they just don't come. I'm like, I don't know why. I mean, just make that money. I guess like you said, if they make more on unemployment, then they don't want to work. But
no, exactly.
So I mean, it's crazy, bro. It's a crazy rabbit hole they got people in.
No, everything's gotten so stupid. What was it like you started off in Columbus, Ohio, and was it at the Funny Bone, or were you kind of bouncing around to some different open mics?
Funny Bone. It was a Funny Bone. Yeah. Actually, when the Funny Bone was Tuesday through Sunday, if you imagine that, 3 shows.
I remember those days. Oh yeah.
3 shows on Saturday, and they smoked.
Yeah. Remember those? So, hey, come out Wednesday, jokes with no smokes.
No smokes. Yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about comedy clubs and people smoking, I mean, when people watch that on television today, they're like, "What the fuck?
Yep. Yep.
You gotta be kidding me!"
I know. And back then we were like, what do you mean? I was convinced that people who didn't smoke couldn't laugh. Because
Right?
you wanted to smoke. You want that person that felt like he was gonna die, you know, you want to hear that. So and now it's the opposite. Now, you know, I'm like, I mean, clothing wise, you smell it wise, I'm like, you know,
You can't get that out of that jumpsuit.
you know what? I can't. I got some OxyClean I can throw in. I got off of As Seen TV. I ordered 1-800, and it came with my pocket fisherman.
Of course it did. What was that scene like? Who were you starting off with? Because I know there's so many good comics that came out of Columbus. I know Michael Loftus.
I'll start with Loftus. Dino Tripodis.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine.
Great guy.
This guy named actually, who else was John Rathbone?
Okay.
John Rathbone was in the fray. He was in the mix. Who else? This guy named I can't remember his name. Goodness gracious, Mike Hess. I don't know if I looked him up a little about a year and a half ago. I couldn't find him on Facebook, but I pray to God he's still with us. There's a few guys. MCTD. There was a really good
Midwest Comedy Tool and Die, improv troupe. Yeah, those guys were really, really good. Right. I remember seeing them traveling all over the place. Period.
Right. Yep. They were in it. I forgot. Mark. What was his name? Mark. He had a wife that was Asian. He always made fun of her. He would laugh and talk like this. Funny dude. I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah. So there was a few of us.
Now, did you guys? Was it a scene that you guys all hung out together, or did y'all kind of do your own thing, and then you just branched out, or was there a unit where you guys all got together and wrote and shared ideas? Was that prevalent back then, or no?
A little bit of both. It was. I mean, you gravitate towards, you know, the like-minded comics in your area,
right?
You know, as I'm sure everyone does. And then, you know, eventually everyone just kind of, you know, pick their own friends from that thing, from that group. But once a week they had it was on a Saturday. Funny Bone would have like a little powwow where we have all the comics come in. It wasn't like an open mic. It was like it was a workshop.
Right.
So everybody bring in their stuff and they go up on stage and go and do like 2 minutes, and everybody would kind of say, "Hey, try this way, try this way." It was every Saturday at noon. And the headliner who was actually in town that day, he or she would pop in, you know, if they wanted to.
You see so little of that today.
Oh, it's because it was fun back then.
Yeah. Well, it's fun now, you know, but I mean, just you seldom get the opportunity to see a workshop. I mean, like I've worked at the Comedy Castle in Royal Oak, Michigan, and they do a workshop on Saturdays. And a friend of mine was teaching the class, and he goes, "Hey, you want to come on out and and talk to the people?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." But I mean, that literally is probably one of the first and only, and that was got to be before the pandemic. So that was year and a half ago, something like that. And that was like the last time. And even before that, I can't think of a time other than maybe that club when somebody had said, "Hey, why don't you come on out and, talk to this group?"
Well, the Cabana has one every Wednesday. And I didn't realize that until Friday or whatever. It was a young man, Iman, from
Edmund.
Edmund, yeah, I come E Dizzle. Yeah, Edmund, yeah, from Albania.
Yeah, the Comedy Cabana in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
I said I had no idea. Had I known that they do a workshop on Wednesday at 5:30, I believe.
Right.
They do every Wednesday. I said I'd have popped in. I said next time I'll pop in. So I mean they're out there, and these young cats, they're trying to keep that vibe alive. Not so much as a workshop, but I see a lot of them just hustling, doing like the open mic nights at different bars. Whoever will have them up.
Right.
They'll try to make a show once a week, which is not the same as a constructed environment where the professionals come in and whoever pops in, we can kind of give our 2 cents. But nevertheless.
No, I always thought, I always thought you learned a lot more by hanging out with people that are better than you. You know, it's like you go golfing with somebody. I mean, I can go golfing with a friend of mine who sucks, and both of us are going to suck. And all of a sudden, if for some odd reason you go golfing with someone who knows what they're doing, all of a sudden you elevate your game. So, you know, I think you learn more when you kind of hang back and listen and talk to some of the pros, which is what I was, which is what I did, and I'm sure what you did too when you were getting started.
I still do. I tell the cats
absolutely.
Today, yeah, we were joking at the top about guys don't stick around and watch the show. That's all the time. It's crazy how I tell these young comics, young meaning 10, I don't know, whatever young is for them. I said it's amazing. I used to go and watch the pros, even when I was working. I mean, I would watch more than 3, 4 shows in a row. You know, and pop in. That way you can see some comics they don't change. Some comics are very verbatim. Some comics will do a joke differently. Some comics don't do the same joke. They do a different inflection. Right. So you just learn. So that's how I'm kind of like, you get to see the vibe of, hey, somebody heckled them right before they did the punchline. How did they change up? Or, for me, I slow it down, speed up, whatever your rhythm is. You get to learn that. And these cats, they come in, they want to do a guest spot and, grab their notebook and walk out. Right. And the feature act's not even on yet, and you're like, okay, that's probably why you.
While you're still in the same situation that you're in right now.
Yeah, but even now, if I have time and I'll go up to open mic night and just hang out, have a couple of drinks. Right. I just like being around it.
What's
the whole show.
You and I have had plenty of drinks together through the years. What's your best drunk story? Which could be your worst drunk story? I always like asking that because it can be something horrific or something hysterical, or both.
I don't know. You know what? Let me think. Oh, here's one.
I saw the thought bubble burst over your head.
We were at it was at Central State University, the college. LL Cool J was performing.
Okay.
Right. This is way back in the day. This is when my boys, we would get in the car and drive different cities and go see somebody perform. But LL Cool J was performing at Central State. Where is that? It's right in Wilberforce, Ohio, right outside, like kind of right outside the Dayton area.
Okay, gotcha.
So, okay, we're drinking. I was drinking Cisco. You ever heard of Cisco back in the day? Cisco is like
I've heard of it.
They look like grenades. They were shaped like a grenade, and that's why. Man, look. It was in the wintertime. And so he's performing inside the gymnasium. This is before he was,
right.
He was still big. I mean, but rock the bells. That was so
sure.
And I was so messed up. And when I'm in public and I'm so messed up, I get paranoid because I always want to have this control. I think I should have control. Even when I was younger, I was so fucked up, D. That even before he got to the main, rock the bells and what else was my radio. That was the main cuts. I'm in the bleachers with my friends. I'm like, I said, Terry, I can't make it, man. I'm too drunk. I can't make it. He goes, bro, you're gonna have to go back to your car by yourself because we're not leaving this concert. So I had to walk down the bleachers by myself because they weren't leaving. Left our gymnasium, got lost in the snow. My friend had an Omega. It was a gray Omega. I can't remember. Yeah, I opened the door. I got the back seat. Fell asleep without even turning the car on. They left me there. They went out to Bob Evans because it was 24 hours after that. Came and got me. It's like 5, 6 in the morning. I missed the concert, missed everything. Car was never even turned on. And my friends drove home and it was 4 of us. The other 3 legitimately in their face, they could not care less. They were like, man, you missed a hell of a concert, bro.
You almost got frostbite.
Fetal position in the back seat.
That's brilliant. Drinking Cisco.
Drinking Cisco. Now, I didn't stumble. I didn't throw up. It was no kind of I've only thrown up once in my entire life, and people don't believe that.
Right.
That was in 1970. I can't remember. I was eating. The last thing I ate was Golden Graham cereal. I never ate that again.
Yeah, if you're gonna get lit up and then you eat that, sure.
No, but I was young. I mean, I wasn't even drunk. I mean, that literally. I've never
Just last time you threw up, period.
Yep, never. No one believes.
Wow, that's impressive.
I've never, ever, ever. You know why? Because I'm scared that I might drown because I can't swim. I think
you're afraid.
Yeah.
So if you throw up, you think you're going to drown.
Could be. Right. I don't know. Whatever it is, but it's kept me from.
Oh, there's been rock stars that drowned on their own vomit. So yeah, I can understand where you might be a little bit freaked out about that.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you about this. You've done a great job of continuously reinventing yourself as far as your act is concerned. Then you also went ahead and you had joined up with a tour, and please fill me in on this. Who started this? The Sellout Tour. You guys had, and it was you. It was Billy D. Washington, Louis Johnson, if I'm not mistaken, and BT, correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Funny stacked lineup. Who put that together? Tell me about that.
Billy D came up with the idea of the having the different aspects of Black comedy come together, and he had at the time he had met me, he had known of me, and I think Louis had suggested me. And I had known he knew BT because him and BT, I think they asked me together, and I've known BT long. I think I've known all of them.
Right.
So we got together and we put the theme together, and it did really well. It was called Sellout because the whole notion of being Black and thinking outside the box at the time, society was labeling you a sellout, like that was negative, And so we were just trying to show different perspectives and, 4 different Black men, 4 different perspectives, and we still got along. So that was like our way of showing the public, hey, we don't think alike, These
I thought that show was a brilliant idea. And I had seen the clips on it. I had seen the promo stuff because this started probably around 2000, maybe 6, 7, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
How long did that end up lasting? Because I would have thought that if anything had legs, because you guys are all hilarious, very, all your acts are hysterical.
Yeah.
And I thought that would have been picked up by some kind of an agency. Was there interest from anybody in picking that thing up and trying to run with it?
Oh, we had an agent out of New York that was we would do theaters, and we did a lot of universities. So. Right. But we to parlay into like network and stuff. We always told ourselves we videotaped ourselves, but it's just for whatever reason we never got over that hump. But we was still working until the last show we did together is probably 2000 and maybe 18.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't that long ago that we haven't had a gig together. Maybe 19. I gotta look.
Right.
I'm not sure. Yeah. So it was right. It was right before that, but it was few and far between. But it we had a good run. We were doing colleges, universities, we were doing theaters.
No, that's the place to end up making your money is doing that stuff. Now you did a segment on the show which I thought was hysterical, called "Everything You Always Wanted to Ask a Black Man But Were Afraid to."
Yeah. And
audiences would write questions down.
Right.
And then send them up to you. Now, what was the most insane thing that you were asked?
Bro, I don't even remember. We had thousands. I actually, you know what?
I'm sure there's a million of them, but
I literally, I used to do that way back in the day, just in my regular act.
Okay.
This was, as early as this, because I brought that aspect to the show. So let's just do that part. I was doing that. But it wasn't so much the way we had the question. I would do it straight from the audience. So right. I started that probably in 2000, I say 90, 97, 98. It was before 2000. I was just like, ask me anything. So that was fun for me. So what we did was we had cards
right
that we passed them out. So it would be anonymous. So people wouldn't, incriminate themselves, so to speak.
Right.
So let me see. I'm trying to remember, man.
I know there's got to be just some crazy ass shit.
Man, we had one. I remember. She goes, "How come how come you ignorant ass niggas won't take care of your? How come you ignorant ass niggas won't take care of your kids?
What?
And this is a black crowd. I'm sure. And then my response was, how come you keep fucking these ignorant ass niggas? That's the question. You know, why?
Holy shit!
That we had club shows, we had corporate shows.
I know.
Oh, we didn't get that during a corporate show.
Well, no. Yeah, I can't imagine this. The head of HR. How come you guys don't take care of your? Do you think you can still go ahead? I'm sorry.
I loved it. You know what I mean? Because it legitimately,
it's hilarious.
It opened up the psyche of America. You know, it let you know what people were thinking. It was fun because, you know, people actually got a chance to legitimately ask questions. You know, we had some really good questions. You know, how many guys on the stage are Christians, or how many, you know, do you guys believe in Christianity? Right. And, you know, do you believe that that the government can do better? You think, are you guys depending on the government? Just legitimate questions that we had thousands and thousands of questions, man. So,
I'm sure you did. Do you think you could still pull that off today in this PC snowflake landscape?
Yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, I have to preface it this as I do my normal routine. Let people know, you know, you walk out now if your skin is thin. So, you know, I mean,
see, because you don't know. Well, because you don't know who you're going to piss off. I mean, you and I were talking before we started recording a little bit.
Yeah,
and you just never know who is good. What word is going to come out of your mouth that's going to trip some lunatic into just going into some kind of a crazed reaction and freak out and start yelling at you.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here's the thing. When I'm by myself on stage, I'm sure as you as well, I have chunks of material that deal exactly with that, in hopes that somebody is going to say something, because I cover all my bases, because it's beyond insane how these people are so entitled. You know, they come out, you know, they don't even come out. They have people come out just to look for certain words so they can go back and write about it, or, you know, or tweet about it. You know, they're not coming out to have a good time. They're coming out specifically just to see if they can hear something. You know, they can go, you know, and then the sad thing about it is there's not enough people. They don't take out 2x4s and flog the shit out of them. You know what I mean? They just go along with it.
Now, what's the most recent thing that happened? Is there any situation that came up within the past, I don't know, say 3 or 4 years, that somebody lost their shit? Because you have a way of, I mean, your stuff on stage is very well thought out. It's hysterical, but you press some buttons, but you say it with a smile on your face, and you have just this very disarming way about you. And
I've learned to do that,
so I watch that, and I like, you know, when you and I work together on several occasions, and I like watching the audience. I like seeing their reaction, because, you know, you're saying something and you're getting your point across, but you've got that sly grin like you had right now.
But yeah, you know what? The thing of it is, like, a lot of times too, I've learned to actually incorporate a lot of my other weapons. You know, my improv. You know, I don't go so deep. Depends on the crowd want to hear. The difference now is I'm not gonna make you listen. Sure. You know what I mean? My ego is not to the point where I'm like, you know, if I'm going to some stuff that I think is kind of, you know, and I know people are turning completely, if I can't get you back, I'm not gonna stay on it. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna be like, you gonna, you know, nah, you know.
Sure.
So I'll switch up, and there's some things too. I still have some stuff that I literally have not said yet. You know, I mean, there's some stuff that I'm like, nah, this is new. You know, I mean, legitimately, and I get mad at myself, but I'm like, nah, you did very well not saying that.
Nah, you got to know when you know when to pull back. I mean, it's like you want to unleash the hounds, and you go, maybe we should leave the gate closed here for a little bit longer. They're not ready to deal with this kind of a topic
until they coming to see me specifically.
Oh yeah,
I mean, until they're paying $50 a ticket to the theater to see my name is only one on the marquee. Now they know who they come to see. But other than that, I'm like, no, let me put out a quick dick joke and get out of here real quick.
Now you went out to LA for a while. I remember working with you before you went out to Los Angeles, and you had picked up some representation.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed your act evolving into more of telling a story. And it was when you were talking about your dad.
Right.
And I remember that particular chunk in your act. Now, was that something, because I remember you were getting set to go, I think you and I had worked together in Columbus, and you were getting set to shoot your Comedy Central Presents, your half-hour special.
Right.
And you and I were talking before that, or during the week, and you were saying, I'm trying to work this in, trying to do this. Was that something that you put together, or was the agent / management trying to direct you?
Trying to direct a little bit, because that was back in the day of development deals or holding deals and everything. As soon as you get to LA, they change you. They try to change you into what they want you to be, and it's up to you how far you want to go. So the good thing about it is, for me, is that it forced me to actually tell the story that I can tell. Tell about your family, to find something funny because no one else has that story, which is a good exercise.
Sure.
But then, they would get down to the point where, some managers, even to this very day, they'll tell, don't say the joke this way, say it this way. You're like, why? I've been saying it this way for 15 years. It's the way it works.
Right.
It's on TV. It doesn't translate. It's a whole different animal that my soul doesn't really connect with. It's hard to kind of give up some stuff. But with the father stuff material, that was fun because I actually worked that out at Joker's Comedy Club in Dayton, Ohio, which was Joker's Friday night second show was Last Comic Standing had nothing on Joker's second show Friday. They could have filmed a series called "You Think You Funny?" Come to Friday's second show at Joker's. No, really. We'll pay you for a whole week. Just do one show Friday. We'll pay you the whole week if you can survive Friday's second show at Joker's. Man, look. So all that material with my dad came from Joe. I remember I literally was like, okay, I'm gonna sit there and talk this out, and that was my comfort zone, that club.
Right.
So all this with the lights on and off, the click and stuff, the switch and stuff like that. But that the birth of that was from Joker's, man. That was a club where I felt really, really comfortable. It's intimate, and no one was judging you. So
well, did an agent come out and see you, or were you showcasing at a festival, or did you go out to Los Angeles and do a showcase for a bunch of agents and somebody saw you and said, hey, I like the look, I like what you're saying, let's get together and make this happen?
You know who was responsible for my career in LA? Is Kathleen Madigan.
No shit.
Kathleen Madigan is hands down is solely responsible. She told me, she said, you got to come out here to the Improv. You got to go to the Melrose Improv. You got to do a set. I'm like, she, I'm going to set it up. You come out this day, you fly out, blah, blah. So I flew out. And that night when I walked off the stage, I had a manager, agent, and an entertainment attorney, which who needed one at the time.
Wow.
That night.
That's cool. That's really, really cool. That had to be overwhelming.
Yeah, it was. And it is.
I guess you go in there hoping to have something good come out of it, but then when something all of a sudden everything happens, you're like, here's your agent, here's your manager, here's your attorney. You're like, wow, okay, what?
Yeah, that was it legitimately.
Now, what was the first order of business once they got you? So they talked to you afterwards. I'm assuming you probably met them up, at an office the next couple of days, or you talked on the phone, whatever. What was their hook to get Vince Morris?
You got to live out here, that kind of thing. When you're moving out, that's the first and foremost when you're moving out. So, this is what we can do. This is what you have auditions and same old stuff, commercial auditions. You can do this, you can do this, try to get you in this, get you in these festivals, blah, blah, which I did. I did Montreal to Aspen, but moving me out there was the first and foremost. That's what they wanted to do.
How long were you out there?
I was probably, I'd say I officially gave up my apartment. I'd say about 7 years ago, man. So I was legitimately out there I had an apartment for like 14 years, maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the experience like? Did they deliver everything that they said they were going to, or did the rules change once you got there?
You know, the rules didn't change. It was learning how to play the game. That's my, the smoothing. You got to go. It was a lot of different things that went into it. That being young at the time too, I didn't. It was appealing, but I didn't want it that bad. You know what I mean? I'm not. I was a lot of guys. I mean, I don't want. I have to go up and say hi to this person. You got to be seen with this person. Why? I'm like, what difference? I mean, I
Right.
was kind of like, this is not my thing. It's still not my thing. So. I did the showcases. I got with the showrunners, had some deals, development deals, that kind of thing. But it's a shot in the dark, man. Getting on TV is hard, and then seeing what you have to deal with once you even get a pilot, and you have to answer to everybody. It's bananas once you have a show who the executives are. They have to,
Right.
every joke has to be cleared by them. In the middle of a taping, if they can say stop, change that joke. They get people in earphones up. They don't like the joke, rearrange it. You're like, what? It's like
Yeah.
these behind the red curtain type people, and that's like, it's kind of scary. It's kind of evil. It's kind of sinister. There's a whole bunch of stuff going into it.
How long were you into the game before you go, you know what, this is just not going to work for me?
After that first night up to Melrose Improv, I'm like, this is not gonna work. But I'm gonna try
I
it out.
appreciate your honesty.
I'm gonna try it out anyhow. See what happens. No, I was young. I was excited, but it's just the energy, man. It's just I never liked the phoniness, insincerity, everything that is Hollywood. I personally, it's hard trying to navigate through that and be sane. It was. Don't get me wrong. It was great. A lot of good things came from it.
Sure.
No disrespect to that part, but man.
No, definitely. But you come from the Midwest. I mean, I come from Detroit. I mean, you're from Columbus, Ohio. I mean, and there's a certain level of, how can you put it? People that grew up in a blue collar household. My dad was an electrician for Ford.
Normal.
I mean, they were just, people had, communities, neighborhoods. I mean, you talk to people because you genuinely wanted to talk to them. You became friends with them because you had similar interests. Right. And it wasn't just, you weren't going over to say hi to somebody just for the sake of kissing their ass. And hopefully they like the look on your face and you can, maybe get a part in a TV show or something like that. So
it's the constant being judged. It's the constant microscope of being judged like that from everybody, and some people love it. They thrive in it. You could tell automatically what comedians, at least I can, have a better shot, especially than I did or would, because you look at him or her and be like, yeah, they'll do whatever it takes. It doesn't,
right.
They have that energy, whatever it is. So it works out for them, and they go on to make great money or whatever they need to do, so it is what it is, was what it was. It was good.
No, but good experience. I mean, they ended up getting your Comedy Central special, which you had to be very happy with that.
Actually, too, you know what? When I did Craig Kilborn, first time, I was the first comic that was allowed to use the N-word in years. They cleared that.
Wow.
So I had a little expose on CNN. I did Zoe.
They want to rearrange jokes, but they allow you to fire the N-bomb?
Yeah, on that, Craig Kilborn did. Yeah, he was.
Wow. Okay.
Like that joke. Yeah, the way I had it set up, they're like, so.
Right.
That was good. That was nice. I forgot about that.
Man.
Yeah.
No, you've been at it
on network TV, the first comedian.
Wow.
I forgot how many years they said.
Woo. What's changed in your mind? What's changed in the comedy scene today for you? Not just the comedy scene in general, but what has changed, say, for you from, say, 10 years ago?
I think it's what you and I both talked about. Is the sensitivity of these people. It's not even the sensitivity. It's the environment. It's the atmosphere.
Right.
Because a lot. We always go into a club, knowing that somebody's going to be offended, but the objection, not the objection, the determination of us was to be like, what, I'm gonna make you laugh anyhow. That, what I mean? It's like, that was the thing. It wasn't, some comics who went into it wanting to offend on purpose. That's a different style, but now it's the energy, man. It's a whole, it's a skittish kind of a eggshelly, bullshitty environment, man.
Well, it's funny because people come out to a comedy show and, again, we're on stage, we're joking. No one's saying anything with the intent of being mean. No one's trying to piss somebody off for the most part. I mean, you got certain comics that are like, listen, I don't give a shit, and I'm going to go ahead and say whatever I want. I don't care if you love Biden, I'm going to shit on him. If you love Trump, I'm going to shit on him, and I'm going to see how I can, get the room all pissed off at me. But for the most part, we're there to make people laugh. So yeah, that element of someone coming out looking for a reason to be pissed off is what cracks me up. And it's funny because we're talking about BT, who's hilarious guy, one of the nicest people in the world. I'm working with him at the MGM and at Brad Garrett's club. Mm-hmm. And he knew some girl that came out to a show, and he met her like on a cruise ship. And so she comes up and she's probably, I don't know, maybe 22, 23 years old. And I was doing a joke in my act about I was doing a joke in my act about stop global stupid, spay and neuter white trash is what I just said.
I love it.
And so she comes up and there's a line, and I was selling shirts that had that on there. And so there's a line of people buying shirts, and she comes walking up, and she's friends of BT's apparently. So BT's standing on the side, and BT's got that big shit-eating grin that BT has, and he's taking pictures with people and hugging and kissing babies and shit and buying people French fries, whatever the fuck he does. And so I love him. He cracks me up. He's so funny.
He spit when he talks. I love it.
He's so funny. So this girl comes up and she's got her arms crossed. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So she goes, she looks at the shirt, she looks at me, and she goes, so what you're saying here, stop global stupid, spay and neuter white trash, is you're advocating wiping out a race, not unlike Hitler. And I stared at her for a second. And I look at BT and I go, is this with you? Like I pointed at her like she was like a dog that got off a leash.
She wasn't a human at that point, yeah.
No. And I went, is this with you? I go, get her out of my face.
Exactly.
And there was a guy in line behind her looking at her like, what the fuck is your problem? And he goes, yeah, I want 2 larges. I want an extra large. And it was so fun. So she steps aside and she throws her arms crossed. She goes, you're not going to listen to a word I'm saying. I go, you are quick.
And that's the best. You know what I think it is, D? That's the best thing we can do is not give it any oxygen, because that's what they're looking for.
Right.
They're looking for anything just to, the fact that you didn't say anything other than, is this what you, that was beautiful. That was brilliant, because so here's the thing though, what you don't want to do, maybe you do, but I know you're smarter than that in the sense that you're trying to make this money. What you don't want to do, I'm not going to get in a conference, I'm not going to get in an argument, or I'm not even going to entertain. It's not even an argument because I know what I'm doing. You're the one that has no idea what you're talking about. Right. So I'm not even going to go back and forth. It's just a bait thing you're doing. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, that's funny.
It was so funny. And BT was so apologetic afterwards. He goes, man, I'm so sorry. I met this girl on a cruise ship and, she came out and and he's always like wound up. He's like Spinal Tap. He goes to 11, but he's at 11 all the time.
Oh yeah. Easily.
His resting heart rate's got to be like 170.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even.
Lab rats, hamsters are like, bro, you need to slow down. Like, you're too much.
Let me ask you this. If you had a dream acting gig, because you went out to Hollywood, if you had a dream acting gig, what would it be?
Well, to be creator and director and producer of my own show, whatever it be, whether it's a sitcom, almost like Jerry Seinfeld, where I'm surrounding myself with my friends and we can say what we want to say. And, I would probably, like a Dave Chappelle, I would probably do like a sketch show.
Right.
That would be my dream job, because I am in control of my own material as well as whoever else I'm bringing on the cast. And then we're doing the bits that I thought up or they thought up. We all thought up,
Right.
Nobody's saying, hey, you can't do it that way. That's the dream. That's the perfect acting job. For me.
So now let's say you got to go ahead. They're going to cast you in a role as we wrap up here. They're going to cast you in a role. You can play anybody. You are going to portray somebody. Who would you want to portray?
Famous? You mean like if I'm going to portray?
Could be whatever.
Famous?
Could be a sports figure. Could be political person. Anything. Anybody. Vince Morris stars as blank because Jamie Foxx is playing Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he's talented. He's crazy talented.
Right.
Yeah, he's a great impressionist. I don't know if I can. Who would I do? Who would you do?
Who would you do? Elizabeth Montgomery from Bewitched. I think that would be a great role for you. That's hot. Keep doing that. In your jumpsuit. Keep wiggling your nose.
You know what? And I'll be the
sexy
Black
bastard.
Fonzie.
Black Fonzie.
Hey,
Vince Morris as Henry Winkler in
Bronzy.
Happy Day. Bronzy. Black Fonzie.
Yeah.
Holy! Can you imagine? That had to be the whitest show in the history of television. No, it was great. I mean, Ron Howard. Everybody, Anson Williams and Tom Bosley. And
yep.
Black Fonzie, Bronzy.
Yep.
I love it, buddy. You are fantastic. VinceMorris.com is your website. Follow him on social media. Again, you can click on all the icons on his website and check out his videos on YouTube. The one that we played, of course, there's no White Washingtons. Hysterical. But also go on YouTube and type in Vince Morris. You'll find a bunch of other really super cool video clips. My friend, I always wish you nothing but the best. And
appreciate you, man.
Give my best to your girl, and so happy
you
for you,
well.
man.
All right, D.
Absolutely, buddy. I'll talk to you soon, man.
Thanks for listening to A Drink with Derek. Find out when Derek is appearing near you by checking out DerekRichards.com. See you next time for A Drink with Derek.